Do you have a 560 credit score and think buying a house is impossible? A 560 credit score is not a very good credit score. But if you don't think you can buy a house, I'm here to tell you that you can. And let me explain to you in this very short video how you can do that. So stick around to the end. I'll give you 3 proven ways to raise your credit score quickly. Also, in my comments below, I'll give you a link to a free credit report from Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. They're the 3 major credit bureaus in the United States. And I'll also let you know about a lender that I use who is a mortgage broker and what that means for you as a mortgage broker. And she does manual underwriting, and we'll explain that all here very soon. But I am here to tell you, yes, you can buy a house with a 560 credit score. My name is 𝐃𝐨𝐬. I'm a principal real estate broker and have been in the real estate business for several decades. All right, this next 2 slides are very important, and normally I only show a slide for 3 or 4 seconds, but this one is so key to what we're talking about, how you can buy a home with a credit score of 560, that we're going to spend some time talking about this. So the first one shows the FICO, FICO, that's the credit bureau report scoring system that provides the report for buying a home. And this report shows the distribution, with 100% being all of the reporting people. Now, this is provided by Experian, which is one of the 3 major credit reporting bureaus, and this is results as of 2025. So it's from the one source you need to get this information from. All right, so let's start out. If you have a credit score of 300 to 579, and 560 is certainly in that, 14% of the people in the United States have a credit score like that. 580 to 669, 15%. If you go into the good category, 670 to 739. Very good is 740 to 799. Now, let me just mention, I went through a divorce a number of years ago, ended up with the kids, and lost the home, had to declare Chapter 7. So I went from an exceptional category of 815, was 800 to 850, down to the 400s. I am here to tell you, it is possible to go that low and then to climb back up. I've done it, and you can do it also. So the very good category is 740 to 799. Right now, I'm about 780. So I'm just about to leave the very good category to get to the exceptional. All right, this slide is very important. If we take a look in 2025, the actual number of people who got mortgages with these credit scores. So the second slide, which is a version of the first one, but with some additional information. So the poor category of 300 to 579, 14% of the country is in that category, but only 1/3 of 1%, or 0.36%, were able to get a home mortgage in 2025. Wow. So what that means is, for most people, a credit score of 560, which is what we're talking about, would be totally out of the ballpark. But I'm here to tell you, watch the rest of this short YouTube video, and I can explain to you how you can actually become a homeowner. All right, so back to the challenge, and how do you overcome this challenge if you're 560, only 1/3 of 1%, 1/3 of 1% got a loan in 2025 with that credit score. So what can you do? And there's a plan here. I wouldn't be talking to you if there wasn't a plan. So what it means is you could qualify for an FHA loan or a VA loan, not a conventional loan. Now, FHA typically looks at a credit score of 580 or higher. And if you can have a credit score of 580 or higher, you can qualify for as low, with a down payment as low as 3.5%. And this is for a lot of first-time home buyers. Very popular program. If you have a credit score between 500 and 579, you'll need 10% down, but you can still get a home. Now, I'm an Army veteran, and I have used VA loan in the past. If you're military, the VA loan program says you don't have to have any down payment. Of course, we earned that. Most lenders, though, want to see a credit score of 580 to 620. But I've seen approvals as low as 560 when working with a VA-savvy lender and a VA-savvy realtor. That's me. And how this happens is something that really isn't discussed much. Manual underwriting. Now, what is that? You may notice I have white hair. I'm an old guy. And when I was a kid, all the cool hot rod cars were stick shifts, manual transmissions. Now, almost everything's automatic. In fact, I think most kids don't even know how to drive a manual. I was reading that I live here in Alexandria, Virginia, and someone tried to steal a car in D.C., and it was a sports car, and it was a manual transmission. They didn't even know how to drive it. So the same thing is true when you take a look at lenders. It used to be that all loans were manually underwritten. A lender would take several hours and score it and do the analysis. Today, just like automatic transmissions of cars, most lenders are using the computer to give them a score. And 99% of lenders out there today don't even do manual underwriting, even know how to do it. So if you have a 560 credit score, you're going to need to get a lender who can do manual underwriting. And that's not that as difficult as you would seem. Three ways to rapidly increase your credit score, because you want to do this before you go talk to a lender. And in a minute, I'll tell you what kind of lender you need to talk to. It's not a traditional lender. It's not a bank. It's not a credit union. Those are all going to be using the automated system. Let's go back to the three quick ways, which I promised you, to increase your credit score. The first of three is to lower your credit utilization. What is that? Let's say you got a credit card and you've got a $1,000 credit line. 30% of that is $300. You want to keep your spending, the credit you've got on your credit card, to 30%, $300 or less. Or let's say it's $2,000 credit line, 30% would be $600. Keep it less than that. That really has a huge impact, and you can do that within 30 days. The second way is checking for errors. I had mentioned to you I'd gone through a divorce, ended up with Chapter 7, lost the house, but got the kids. So as I started climbing my way back up to a good credit score, I checked with the three credit bureaus, and again, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, and there was a lot of mistakes in my report. And I was able to contest those and get those fixed. And that can also happen in 30 days or less. So you want to get a copy of your credit report, and below in my comments section, I have a link where you can get a free full report from Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax every 12 months. The third way, which most people have never even heard of and works extremely well, is to become an authorized user on a relative or a friend who has really good credit. Now, you don't have to use their credit card, but by becoming an authorized user, you get the effects of their excellent credit score. All of the recommendations in this video work. They work for me, and I had a credit score in the 400s. One thing I'd like to request before we go to the final part of this video, which is the most important part, is if you would take a moment and subscribe to this YouTube channel. It helps me a lot with the YouTube algorithm. Now let's go to the most important part. You have a 560 credit score. You've done all the things I recommended. You still will not be able to buy a house unless you do one final thing. And even though you may have a great realtor like me, the most important thing is to have a mortgage broker. Now, what is a mortgage broker? I've been a realtor for decades. I've always used a traditional mortgage lender, and that's a lender who works for a particular institution, and all they do is represent the products from that institution, the loan offerings. Recently, I started working with a mortgage broker. And that's a huge difference. So a mortgage broker doesn't have any particular lender product that they offer for mortgages. The one I recommend here, and her contact information is in the comments below. She's licensed in 32 states. I'm licensed in 3 states, Virginia, Maryland, and DC. So she's licensed in 32, which is most of the country. Definitely the biggest populated areas of the country. So a mortgage broker works, in this case, she works with over 30 lenders. She will match the mortgage lender with your specific requirements. So if you've got a 560 credit score, which is not a good credit score, let's just be honest, she will match you up with a mortgage lender that specializes in loans like that. And that will help ensure a greater chance of success. So you want to use a mortgage broker if you have a low credit score. Conversely, and this would be a future YouTube video, you could probably get a lower interest rate with a mortgage broker if you had better credit, because again, she would set you up and associate you with a mortgage broker that specializes in your financial circumstance. So again, this is great information. It does work. It worked for me, and it can work for you. A lot of valuable comments below, links in the comments section. Please subscribe. I do 2 YouTube videos each week on the topic of real estate. Thank you.